Okay, this is the four-voice class. We're going to do some warm-up, about 6 minutes at 200. Our attorneys, we have Mr. Beauchesne for the people and Mr. Thayer for defense. Let's identify.
I am Mr. Beauchesne for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I am attorney for defense, Mr. Thayer.
It's Mr. Beauchesne. In 15s, please.
For the record, would you state your name, please, sir?
Mac Reese.
And how do you spell your last name?
R-E-E-C-E.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a deputy sheriff from Stanislaus County.
Are you currently assigned to the detective division?
Yes, sir.
In particular, are you assigned to crimes against persons and homicide?
Yes, sir.
All right. Drawing your attention, Detective Reese, to on or about the date of June 29th of 1979, did you have an opportunity to talk to the defendant seated in a green jumpsuit here at the council table?
Yes, I did.
And about what time of the day did you talk with him?
When I first made contact with him, it was about 8:10 p.m.
All right. And where was that contact made?
It was at his place of employment.
And where is that located?
It's located off of Yosemite Boulevard. It's a poultry plant.
You don't recall offhand what the name of the plant is?
I believe it's Cal State.
What was your purpose for being at that location at that time on that date?
I had a warrant for his arrest.
Warrant for arrest for what?
For robbery or armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon.
And did you eventually contact him at his place of employment?
Yes.
And was he there as soon as you arrived at his place of employment?
I first made contact with the security guard where he worked. Security guard said he'd have to contact the plant manager. He contacted the plant manager, and then the plant manager asked Mr. Jones's boss if he'd send him up to the office.
Did you, in fact, eventually see Mr. Jones, the defendant?
Yes, sir.
And when you saw him, what did you advise him, if anything?
I advised him that I was there with a warrant for his arrest for armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon.
Did you take him down to the sheriff's office?
Yes, sir.
You did that to question him?
Yes, sir.
Prior to questioning him, did you advise him of his constitutional rights?
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
From a card which I carry with me.
Do you have that card with you here in court?
Yes, sir, I do.
Could you read the rights as you did to him?
I asked him, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning, if you wish one. On the reverse of the card, do you understand each of these rights I've just explained to you? He said, yes. I then asked him, having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to me at this time? He said, yes.
At the time he agreed to talk with you, did he appear to be aware of his surroundings?
Yes, sir.
Did he appear to know what was going on?
Yes, sir.
Did you form an opinion at that time as to his state of sobriety?
Sober.
After he told you that he was willing to talk to you, did you tell him what, in regard, you wanted to talk to him about?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
I told him that we were investigating a robbery in Newman.
Specifically, what were you talking about when you told him that? Or could you tell us what robbery you were talking about?
It was a robbery of Mr. Luna over on Store Road in Newman.
Could you tell us what date this robbery occurred?
I believe it was on the 24th of June.
Did you at some point prior to talking to Mr. Jones ever contact Mr. Luna?
Yes, I did.
Did you discuss with him the events that occurred when Mr. Luna claimed that he was robbed?
Yes, sir.
And did he tell you he was aware of this occurrence?
He said yes, he did.
And what did he tell you about the Newman robbery?
He said that he had met with another person by the name of Ash earlier that evening on the 24th.
Did he tell you that this Ash person's first name was at that time?
I think he said Darren.
All right.
He had met him earlier. Then they met up with two other guys, a Jackson and a guy by the name of Anderson. And Ash and them started discussing about ripping off a safe.
All right. Now, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow of thought here, but when you say they had a discussion, do you recall when this discussion occurred, on what date?
It was on the 24th.
On the 24th? All right.
Yes.
And did Mr. Jones tell you where this discussion had taken place?
I believe he did.
And what did he tell you?
I believe it was at Anderson's house.
And did he tell you how long this discussion took place?
I don't recall if he did or not.
In any case, he said that discussion occurred. And then what happened? What did he tell you?
He said they talked about going out there and ripping off a safe that was at a house out there at a gravel plant. He said that Darren Ash knew the guy that lived there because the guy used to go with Darren's mother, and he knew there was a safe there. He says that Darren told him that there was $300,000 in the safe in cash. He told me that Anderson and Ash started talking about killing anyone at the house, and that if there was anyone there, they were going to kill them, and if not, they were just going to take the safe and go.
You say they were talking about a house that was near a gravel plant?
Yes, sir.
And have you gone out to the scene over in Newman where this robbery occurred and examined the area?
No, sir, I have not.
And in any case, after this discussion took place, did he tell you about his possible involvement in the actual commission of the robbery?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
He said that they decided to go out there. They arrived there, he said, close to 11:30.
On the 24th,
Yes,
11:30 in the evening?
evening, PM.
All right.
And Marty Anderson and himself decided that they were going to go to the front door and knock on the door. If anybody was home, they were going to ask if they could use the phone because they'd run out of gas.
All right.
They then went up to the door. He says Marty knocked on the door. There's a man come to the door. As the man come to the door, Marty told him that they'd run out of gas and wanted to know if they could use the phone. The guy says, maybe I can help you out. I've got some gas down at the gas pump. He said they walked down to the gas pump. The man gave them some gas and they left. Okay, we're going to do another 6 minutes at 200 words a minute. And our attorneys, we have Mr. Hartman for the people and Ms. Bruce for defense. Let's identify.
I am Mr. Hartman for the plaintiff.
I'm
I'm the witness.
the court.
I'm attorney for defense, Ms. Drews.
15s, please.
Ms. Drews, for the record. And did they attempt to run from you in any manner when you approached them?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
How did you approach them, officer?
With the lights off, about a block away, I turned off the lights.
Okay.
So they don't have a chance to run.
Your Honor, may that last part be stricken as unresponsive.
I'm going to leave it in. He explains why he turned off his lights.
Now your lights were off and you went up to them. When did you first get in physical contact with them?
When I first got physical contact,
Well, strike that. I assume you got out of your vehicle at a point
yes, I did.
and you approached these clients, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
How did you approach them?
I approached them. I told them to come towards me.
Did they comply with your request?
Well, I don't think they really had no choice because
Your Honor, may that answer be stricken? I think it's non-responsive.
All sustained.
Did they comply with your request?
yes,
And how long did you talk to them at that time, or did you talk to them?
I talked to them for just a couple of minutes.
And your partner, was he also outside the vehicle at the time?
Yes, he was.
And when you were talking to them, was it in regards to why they were present in the area?
Yes, it was.
Did they respond to your request?
At that time, I had just asked them for ID, and yes, they did.
Okay. They provided you with their IDs?
Well, just right then, I was just starting to get names, and that's when I was approached by Officer Lee.
Now, are you familiar with the police report that was written in regards to this incident?
Yes, I am.
Have you reviewed that police report prior to testifying today?
Yes, I have.
And when that police report was made, did you assist in making it in any way?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Now, after reviewing that police report today, did you find any mistakes in that police report?
Objection, vague and overbroad.
Sustained.
Was there anything, after reviewing that police report, did you see anything that was omitted, officer?
Objection.
Sustained. This is a motion to suppress, not a trial.
Now, did you yourself transport Mr. Garcia back to the police station?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
No, I didn't. Officer Corbero and Kusha.
Am I correct in saying that your testimony is that one person was carrying a flashlight and the other person was carrying a cane?
Yes,
Was the flashlight on or off?
I can't really tell you that.
Do you remember which one was carrying the flashlight?
No,
Or which one was carrying the cane?
no.
And at some point, were the two suspects handcuffed?
Objection, irrelevant.
It goes,
I'm going to overrule that objection as to when the arrest is made.
thank you.
Were they both?
At some point, were they handcuffed?
They were just being detained for that few minutes, and then they were handcuffed.
At what point were they handcuffed?
When Officer Lee told me that he found the other stuff,
And did you handcuff them?
yes, I did.
And did you handcuff them behind their backs?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
Sustained.
At the booking search, you said you found an identification. Is that correct?
I think it was a,
Misstates the testimony, Your Honor.
No, overruled. He says he found ID and a set of keys and a citation.
yeah,
You remember who you found the identification on?
I think it was this gentleman over here.
On Mr. Garcia?
It appears he's pointing to Mr. Garcia.
And did that identification identify him as Mr. Garcia?
I can't remember.
Okay. And the set of keys, on who did you find the set of keys?
It was also on, that I don't remember.
Did you fill out the booking sheet, the booking card?
No, that's typed by someone else,
Okay.
the station master.
Did you notate on anything as to who you found these items on?
Objection, discovery, irrelevant to this proceeding.
Is that discovery? I'm not familiar with that objection.
I'll overrule the objection.
Did you write down anywhere as to who you found the different items on?
Most likely they would have been on the booking card slip.
But you are not the one who filled that out, is that right?
No, I didn't.
All right. How about the citation? Who did you find that on?
I think it was also on Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Garcia. And that was the citation for the car for which you also found the keys, is that correct?
I just can't really remember.
I have no other questions.
I have a few.
Let me ask one question. Did either one of the individuals have a cap on?
At this time, I just cannot recall.
You don't recall? Okay. Mr. Hartman?
Yes, I have some questions, Your Honor. Officer, if you get a description from headquarters for a white male, would that include or exclude Latin males?
I'm going to object to that as being vague.
I'll sustain the objection.
Officer, you are familiar with the term Latin male,
Yes, I am.
and you are familiar with the way the police force uses the term white male in communications.
Yes, I am.
If you get a,
Objection. I believe that's a hypothetical question.
Sustained.
when you receive a communication from headquarters that refers to a white male, does that include or does it not include Latin males?
Objection, vague.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Your Honor, the people are puzzled as to what exactly is vague. In this particular instance, officer, when you received a communication from headquarters referring to white males, did that include or exclude Latin males?
Your Honor, the objection here is that there is no way that he could know what was in the mind of somebody who put out white male.
Why don't you ask him when he stopped these individuals, did they fit the category of white males in his opinion?
I thank the court. Officer, when you saw these individuals, did they fit, in your opinion, the category of white males as related to you by police communications?
Yes, they did.
Why is that?
Because they are white, they are Caucasians, they are Latins.
Officer, do you recall specifically whether or not a description of the pants and color of those pants was given in the communication? I'm simply asking if you remember specifically, yes or no.
No, I can't.
You don't remember?
Can't remember.
Would it refresh your recollection to examine the CR certified tape, or rather CR slip?
Yes, yes, it would.
Your Honor, it has already been given to him to refresh his recollection on this.
Well, that's an evidence. I can read that as evidence. My question is, what did the people who were arrested have on? That's all I'm worried about. And if it matches the CR slips, I think both counsel know what I'll do with this motion.
Officer,
Yes.
did the fact that the people you saw on the street had a flashlight and a cane have any significance to you at the time you saw them with those items?
Yes, it did.
What was the significance it gave to you?
That they were the ones that did do the auto tampering.
Why did you believe they had significance with relation to an auto tampering charge?
Well, because of the time of night, the flashlight, the cane, the area.
What would you use such things for if you, how are such things significant to auto tampering, the flashlight and the cane?
To see inside the cars.
Well, the cane does.
To break the window.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further, Misters?
Okay, we're going to do a couple minutes here at 2:10. Our attorneys now, we have Mr. Florence for the people and Mr. Solano for defense. Let's identify.
I'm Mr. Florence for the people.
I'm the witness.
I'm the court.
I am attorney for the defense, Mr. Solano.
14, please.
Mr. Solano, for the record. As a matter of fact, you were probably kind of happy, I assume, because you have a confession.
Not necessarily.
Okay, I have no other questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
I have a few, Your Honor. Do you know who placed the parole hold on Mr. Dafford?
I believe it was Mr. Duncan, although I can't say for a fact.
Do you know when that was done?
I believe that was done right after he was arrested. I really don't know. I simply know that he was held on a parole hold.
And your understanding is he was arrested on February 24th?
Yes, he was. As a matter of clearing something up, Your Honor, I believe that there was some confusion on Mr. Duncan's part as to what burglary Mr. Dafford was charged on. I was subpoenaed to a parole board hearing, and they were violating him still at that point for the Summerfield burglary, and I pointed out to Mr. Duncan that I was not charging him with the Summerfield. I was charging him with the Rose Court, and that may be part of the reason why he was held in custody on a parole violation, although I don't know.
Okay.
Do you know at whose direction the parole hold was placed against the defendant?
No, I don't. I believe the officer, Officer Coyle, if he says that was his report, is the one that notified him that Russell was in custody. And that is all that we're required by law to do, to notify the parole agent. It's up to them to place the parole hold. I don't have anything to do with that.
Did you have a conversation with Officer Coyle regarding whether or not Russell Dafford should be arrested?
No, I told him that he should be transported to the jail and booked on a charge of burglary.
Officer Coyle?
Yes,
So he was booked on the 24th of February for the Summerfield burglary
that's correct.
because they found his car there and they arrested him when they saw him driving that car, and that was registered to him.
Because he matched the description of the driver, and the fact that his car was, the license number was copied down, and the fact that he was refused to give any information concerning it.
All right, so then on the 25th, which was the day after he was arrested, you learned that there was a parole hold on him, right?
Yes, I think I was aware of it then.
Okay, and then sometime on the morning of the 4th of March, you filed charges against him, did you not, for the Rose Court burglary?
On which day? I'm sorry.
Roughly on the 4th of March, the day you went to see him again.
Yes, I believe it was. The complaint should,
Did you personally file the complaint?
I took it up and got the complaint, and I think it was signed by the liaison. Let's repeat that. Same speed. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, do this one more time, and then we'll start our tapes.
Mr. Solano, for the record. As a matter of fact, you were probably kind of happy, I assume, because you have a confession.
Not necessarily.
Okay, I have no other questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
I have a few, Your Honor. Do you know who placed the parole hold on Mr. Dafford?
I believe it was Mr. Duncan, although I can't say for a fact.
Do you know when that was done?
I believe that was done right after he was arrested. I really don't know. I simply know that he was held on a parole hold.
And your understanding is he was arrested on February 24th?
Yes, he was. As a matter of clearing something up, Your Honor, I believe that there was some confusion on Mr. Duncan's part as to what burglary Mr. Dafford was charged on. I was subpoenaed to a parole board hearing, and they were violating him still at that point for the Summerfield burglary. And I pointed out to Mr. Duncan that I was not charging him with the Summerfield. I was charging him with the Rose Court. And that may be part of the reason why he was held in custody on a parole violation, although I don't know.
Okay.
Do you know at whose direction the parole hold was placed against the defendant?
No, I don't. I believe the officer, Officer Coyle, if he says that was his report, is the one that notified him that Russell was in custody. And that is all that we're required by law to do, to notify the parole agent. It's up to them to place the parole hold. I don't have anything to do with that.
Did you have a conversation with Officer Coyle regarding whether or not Russell Dafford should be arrested?
No, I told him that he should be transported to the jail and booked on a charge of burglary.
Officer Coyle?
Yes,
So he was booked on the 24th of February for the Summerfield burglary
that's correct.
because they found his car there and they arrested him when they saw him driving that car and that it was registered to him.
Because he matched the description of the driver, and the fact that his car was, the license number was copied down, and the fact that he was refused to give any information concerning it.
All right, so then on the 25th, which was the day after he was arrested, you learned that there was a parole hold on him, right?
Yes, I think I was aware of it then.
Okay, and then sometime on the morning of the 4th of March, you filed charges against him, did you not, for the Rose Court burglary?
On which day? I'm sorry.
Roughly on the 4th of March, the day you went to see him again.
Yes, I believe it was. The complaint should,
Did you personally file the complaint?
I took it up and got the complaint, and I think it was signed by the liaison.